Welcome back out to Patman Garage. We got a surprise today. So as you can see, Fiddy is out of the garage at the moment because I went out and got a new compressor today. It's been a long time coming, and my Craftsman compressor that I've had that compressor for probably about 15 years, and it works. It's just, it's time for something bigger. And I've already showed you in previous videos, the house has hard airline run on a lot of the wall already. So looking forward to getting to use that as well. So I'll show you the compressor, and we got to figure out how to unload it. So it's a Ingersoll Rand 60 gallon. The model number is SS5L5. And it never hurts to ask. We actually got a really good deal on it because we bought it at Northern Tool, and they price matched the price at Tractor Supply. And not only was Tractor Supply cheaper to begin with, but Tractor Supply actually had it on sale too. So they took the Northern Tool took $400 off the price of the compressor to match the price at Tractor Supply. So that was pretty sweet. But like I said, it's big. We got to figure out how to get this thing unloaded now. Well, now that we got the compressor unloaded, we got more work to do to get it set up to work into the garage, and I'll show you my recent shopping list and show you what I got going on here. Okie dokie. So I got brand new synthetic oil for the compressor because it apparently comes dry. I got a new 1/2 inch regulator. I'm going to step down to 3/8 line after the regulator. I bought a bracket for the regulator. This is hardware for the studs coming out of the floor, although we missed the bolt pattern just a little bit, so we'll may have to make some sort of adapter bracket for those. And I bought 1/2 inch airline and a 3/8 airline. Both of those are going to go between the compressor and the wall. So we're going to go 1/2 inch to the regulator, and then we'll go 3/8, or then reducer, then 3/8, then we'll go to the wall. At least that's my plan. I also bought some 90-degree elbows and for the 1/2 inch, and I will show you what that looks like. Hopefully that'll work out the way I wanted it to. I'll kind of walk you through on the wall side what we got. So first things first, we missed our foot just a little bit on the front too. We have it basically pulled all the way. It's sitting on the back one. I'll have to add a bolt back there as well, but I'm probably going to just do some sort of flat bracket across the two that'll just help sandwich down on top of that. I don't really think the compressor is going to go anywhere. The compressor weighs like 310 pounds empty, so I don't expect it to just tip over and run away for me, but I'm just trying to isolate the vibrations at this point. So it shouldn't take much to get that in that location, some piece of flat aluminum or flat steel, whatever. That's the plan for that. Then coming off the compressor, we have the 1/2 inch line with our shutoff valve, and the 1/2 inch line is I'm going to do my 90-degree here, that direction. I'm going to mount my regulator somewhere over here, and so I'll have a line running to the regulator, and then from here coming off the regulator we're going to have a line that runs into the copper wall, copper tubing on the wall right there next to the power plug. So that's where we're going to be stepped down to the 3/8, I believe. So still got some cleaning up to do, still got a drill and mount for brackets and all that, but I kind of wanted you to get a rough idea what we're doing here, and then obviously we'll fill this dude full of oil as well. So that's the rough plan. We'll get to it in the morning once it's a little cooler. So I'm literally looking at the compressor for the first time, and it appears it doesn't come with a power cord either, so we'll have to probably run down to the store and pick up a power cord for it as well, but kind of surprising on that. But well, just another thing on the shopping list. So there's the bracket and the regulator, and they just slide in place, and then The other nice thing about this design too is the airlines will also help keep it retained as well, so there's no way it's going to fall off the bracket, but it does kind of lock in place a little bit. But we'll figure out mocking this up, figure out where it fits in and what our limits of our hoses are, and then we'll try to get it mounted up. So I got my 90 installed. That fit up really nicely, and that'll help keep the length of the air hose from sticking out into the garage. And then got my regulator mocked up. I still need to seal this, but I wanted to kind of get an idea where we can go with it. But I thinking about right in here, and then I think if I bend the top of this bracket over where it sits flat, then the regulator can sit here. Only downside of cleanliness of install is that the regulator output is on this side and the regulator input's on this side, so a little goofy. I don't know if it's reversible or not. Maybe that gauge will come out, I don't know, but I'm gonna, once I get this thing back apart to bend the bracket, I'm gonna see if I can't flip those around somehow, because that would be nice. Well, I'm really happy with the way this is turning out. I'll let y'all see how it's going here. Alright, so I have my 90 fitting there, a 1/2 inch airline, and I originally was talking about putting the regulator right about in here, somewhere maybe on the side of it, but then I decided that it was going to be kind of more in the way of accessing the plug or further installation down here. So I ended up just mounting it on the wall, and had a leftover 90 degree because I bought a 2-pack on Amazon, so use the other 1/2 inch 90 degree here, so that came out with a really nice look. And then, like I said, I stepped down from 1/2 inch to 3/8 here. So there's the final product installation. Pretty sweet. I guess in a perfect world I could have put, if I had a 90 for the 3/8, I could have put one here, but that little S shape is nice and gentle. It shouldn't have any issues with that as well. So next thing we're going to need to do is wire up the compressor, and we still need to put oil in it as well. So that's the current situation on it. I'm happy with it. Also, the sharp-eyed viewer might have already noticed that my output going to the wall is actually what was originally the input, so I was able to flip this around. If you just take the face of the gauge off like this, you can actually pull the gauge off. There's 2 Phillips on it, one on each side, or one on each side of the gauge, and then on the back side there's not a face, but there's a blank out plug on the back of it. So you're able to flip this around if you want to, which is really nice. The only thing you lose is the icon for the lock unlock, which is now on the back for, I guess, draining or removing the filter part of it, but not that big of a deal. So I don't have the isolating pads that are in the instruction manual, and it looks like the previous owner had something, but I do have a roll of marine grade carpet, so I just cut up a couple squares and we'll punch a hole in these and then put one under each foot. Here's what I came up with for the feet. So like I said, I got the back one bolted in, and the front one, since the holes were in the wrong spot from the previous owner of the garage, I just stuck a piece of angle aluminum on top of it, cut some notches reliefs for the feet, and bolted it down that way. The nice thing about the angle iron is it hits the ground first, so it wants to pivot this direction towards the feet, which means I'm putting pressure on that front edge of the bracket, which is pretty close to where the bolt would have been. So pretty clever little piece of simple engineering, and we can move on to the next part of this installation. And I did put some oil in it finally. So it says, the instructions say between 1/2 and 3/4 on the sight glass, so we're right at 3/4 there. And so that's the fill plug. I assume that's the drain plug. Pretty self-explanatory there, and then we'll need to wire up the compressor as our final step. Well, I ran down to Lowe's and they did not have what I needed, so I bought a 6-foot range cord instead, and from what I can tell, the only difference is the bottom plug I don't need, and I need to shorten the width on this plug. So that's what I got in the wall. It's a 3-prong, so we're gonna probably be omitting the red one, which should be the bottom, and then we'll thin up. I guess it's actually this side. But we're gonna modify this cord. Apparently they don't. I couldn't even find online. I couldn't find anywhere that actually sells the cord I need as a standalone cord. Well, I'm glad I checked. So I had this wired up as black to black, white to white, and then I checked on the plug before I modified anything, and the white is actually the neutral, which is the bottom here. And since I'm going with 2 hots, then I actually need the red one. So I'm going to substitute my white for my red here, and then we should be good to go. Well, I got the compressor running, and it is relatively quiet, especially compared to my old one that was oilless and just rattly. And the runtime on, I'd have to look up the paper, but it was probably not even 3 minutes, and it filled the whole tank. So was impressed with that already. Unfortunately, I got a little bit more work to do. So over here on this wall, we have another regulator with an air port, another drain valve down here, another drain valve over there, and up here I have nothing connecting to it. I assume he had some sort of air reel up here. So that'll be my next big step, will be adding some sort of air reel for myself and then connecting to my 3/8 port here. So I believe that's the only other connection. And my plug modification probably isn't OSHA approved because I had to bend the pins a little bit to get them. Apparently that spacing was a little bit more narrow than I thought it was. But it'll work. It does physically work, and it stays in there, so I just got to make sure I don't like randomly lose a piece of metal or something in there where it hits 230 volts by crossing some pins in there. But being that it's kind of tucked into the wall, I'm not really worried about it. Technically, since I don't have this guy connected to anything yet, I could actually back this regulator all the way off, close the regulator, and then that should get me in the same position of closing a port up here that I don't have. My other option is I could thread in a quick disconnect into it, which I probably have one of those right now. And then whenever I install my air hose, all I would need to do is plug in a quick disconnect into it. So that may be the easiest solution for today. Well, it turns out the fitting I thought I had for the for that extra airline is a 1/4 inch, not a 3/8. So I will order a hose reel, and I will update y'all when it gets here. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and end this video because I think it's probably getting pretty long. So I appreciate y'all watching a garage compressor video, and I will catch you in the next one.